How can a country be booming on paper, yet broken in spirit? The debt is cut by more than half. The job market is stronger than ever. Crime is down. Foreign reserves are at record highs. But ask the average Jamaican on the street how they are doing, and many will tell you something you won't see in any report. We're still suffering. This is the paradox of Jamaica's economy, and it could decide the next election. The beautiful numbers. Let's talk numbers. Impressive ones. Jamaica's debt used to be 144% of GDP. Today, it's 68%. That's the best it's been since independence. Unemployment, 3.5%. That's nearly full employment. Never seen before. The country is sitting on more than $5 billion in reserves. Inflation is stable. The Jamaican dollar, holding firm. The government has passed 9 budgets without adding a single new tax. Crime is at a 25-year low. Roads are being fixed. More homes are being built. The PATH program still supports the poor. This is the kind of economic resume that would make any government proud. But many Jamaicans aren't celebrating. They're hurting, and some are not quiet about it. Let us be clear. We agree with Prime Minister Andrew Holness that the state of the economy is a big deal. It must mean something. We must find a way to get people to understand. But we cannot ignore the people's reality. The Prime Minister understands that too.
These achievements are phenomenal and uncontestable. However, we also hear and pay close attention to the feelings and realities of many Jamaicans who have suffered through the global spike in inflation over the last 3 years due to the COVID pandemic and the supply chain shock. Food, electricity, transportation, medication, and other basic amenities have become unaffordable for many. I hear your cry regarding the cost of living. Though the number of Jamaicans employed is at the highest it has ever been, the minimum wage has been increased and wages generally have increased. We understand that wages have been so low for so long that there is still pent-up pressure despite the efforts of the government to create the economic environment where more Jamaicans can have income and inflation is controlled.
A different reality. Same streets, different lives. Meet Devon. He works 2 jobs, one at a gas station, one driving delivery part-time. He brings in around 115,000 Jamaican dollars a month after tax. By the 2nd week of the month, he's broke. Rent, light bill, bus fare, groceries, those devour the bulk of his pay each month. When he hears the government say the economy is booming, he just laughs bitterly. Because here's the hard truth. Having a job doesn't mean you're making a living. Much of the work available is low-skilled, low-paying, and insecure. There's no ladder to climb, just a treadmill that's always moving but goes nowhere. And that's why the Gini index, a measure of income inequality, keeps rising. In 2018, it was 35.6. By 2021, it jumped to 40.2. At the same time, 10% of Jamaicans hold 60% of the country's wealth. For too many, prosperity looks like it's only for the few at the top. The cost of living, quietly crushing families. Stable inflation means little when salaries can't stretch. Here's what you're dealing with in December 2024 prices. A dozen eggs, 450 Jamaican dollars. Bread, 350 Jamaican dollars. 1 liter of milk, 250 Jamaican dollars. A monthly bus pass, 4,000 Jamaican dollars. Monthly utility bills for a modest apartment, over 6,000 Jamaican dollars. So even if inflation stays stable, the baseline cost is already too high. And wages? They're crawling, if moving at all. The Bank of Jamaica warns against high wage increases, citing inflation risk, but that leaves workers squeezed between slow-rising pay and fast-rising prices. It's no wonder that even with a job, people feel poor. Prosperity? Try telling that to the mother who can barely feed her child. Try telling that to the young man with a degree, selling phone cards. If the economy's so great, why does it feel like survival? Crime, stats versus fear. Yes, murders are down. Yes, 2025 is showing a drop from 2024. But safety isn't just about statistics. Break-ins are still at unacceptable levels. US travel advisories still say Jamaica is dangerous. The Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has promised a review, given a downward trend in murders. And social media, it magnifies fear. One violent video will spread like wildfire, feeding anxiety faster than facts can calm it. In some communities, people still bolt their doors before dark. Parents still worry about sending children out. Businesses still spend large sums on security. No matter what the murder numbers say, many Jamaicans still feel unsafe. And that fear dulls any pride about economic progress. But we must applaud the efforts to collar the crime monster. What about public service? Broken services break trust. Take healthcare. Long lines at some facilities, long waits, poor facilities, poor service. For many, it's not a system, it's a gamble. Chronic conditions get worse. Emergency care is patchy, and the rural poor are hit hardest. Let's get real. Many Jamaicans don't trust the system, and when trust is gone, nothing else feels right. The government, the police, the courts. Transparency International ranked Jamaica 73rd out of 180 countries in corruption perception in 2024. Not the worst, but far from the best. People see politicians living large while they struggle. They hear of scandals, then see no one punished. And when leaders speak of prosperity, it feels like a bad joke. Disbelief turns into apathy, and apathy turns into rage or silence. And so, many stay home on election day. Polls don't lie, but they do whisper a warning. Election season is heating up. Constitutionally, Jamaica must vote before the end of 2025. Yet, despite the JLP's shiny economic record, opinion polls suggest something is brewing. The PNP won the popular vote in the 2024 local elections. Some polls now show them leading nationally. Voter turnout hit a record low in the 2020 election. People are tuning out, not because they don't care, but because they don't believe. This is not good for any modern democracy. What do the people really want? It's not complicated. They want to feel like life is moving forward, not just for the rich, but for them too. They want jobs that don't just pay the bills, but allow them to save, build, breathe. Because too many jobs right now are low-paid, dead-end roles that keep people stuck in survival mode. They want food prices that don't leave them with an impossible choice between lunch and bus fare. They want housing that isn't just four walls, but a place where they feel safe, secure, and stable. They want to walk the streets without looking over their shoulders. They want to sleep at night without the sound of gunfire or the fear of being the next victim. They want to walk into a hospital and know that a doctor will be there, that medicine won't run out, that their child will be treated, not tomorrow, not next week, but today. They want to believe in the school system again, to know that education leads somewhere, that a child from a poor home in St. Mary has just as much chance as one from Cherry Gardens in Upper St. Andrew. And more than anything else, they want to trust that the people in charge see them, hear them, care about them. Because right now, for many Jamaicans, prosperity feels like a private party, and they're still stuck outside the gate. They have no party money. You can't eat GDP. You can't pay rent with strong reserves, and you can't sleep peacefully with fear at your window. This is Jamaica's economic paradox. The numbers look good, but the people feel bad. So, here's the question. Will the JLP win another term on numbers, or lose it on reality? Now, it's your turn to weigh in. Drop a comment below and tell us, how are you feeling about Jamaica's progress? If you found value in this content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel Impacting Jamaica.